La, 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 la. All right, back at it. I believe we are good to go. Welcome back to another live stream where we are building with Lovable, building lovable things using lovable.dev, which is a full stack app. I don't even know what full stack means. It's an app that allows you to prompt using AI. So if you're familiar with any sort of like ChatGPT interfaces where you're talking to an LLM, large language model, you can basically tell it what to do and it will go do it. You don't necessarily need to know how to code or anything like that. It's probably good that you have some understanding of how code works, what it's supposed to do, principles, but you don't necessarily need it. I do think though that the more you know, the better off you'll be. So just keep that in mind, because the deeper I go down into this rabbit hole with like AI apps and building out with AI, and the more advanced and the deeper you get into some projects, then you'll quickly realize that it would be beneficial if you knew how, or at least knew some code, right? So I guess that's all I'm saying. Anyways, welcome to my stream. My name is Aaron. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, you can check this channel out. Does some other streams here. So several other streams. This is second week now. So I've got a little bit of a streak going. I'm trying to keep it continuing, trying to keep up the streak. You can find me here or on X at Gray's Reality. So here on YouTube, Gray's Reality. My name is Aaron, but my handle on both here on YouTube is Gray's Reality, as well as on X is where you'll find me tweeting about AI related things, AI coding, Lovable, building apps, anything really related to AI and sort of automation. That's kind of where I like to stay these days. And more specifically, more recently, I've sort of discovered Lovable, and of all the other related platforms that allow you to do this, this is kind of where my attention is. Also, I think that it equates to where my level of coding is. So I have been dabbling and have been doing automations with make.com, for instance, over the last 2 years or so, mostly spending time in make.com, setting up automations with ChatGPT or other other things like that, function calling, but all sort of behind the scenes stuff, not so much front end. I did dabble with Softer.io, Softer, S-O-F-T-R.io. Pretty cool app, allows you to build like an interface on top of like Airtable. So if you have a database in Airtable, you can use Softer to plug it in, and then Softer will create a front-end interface that you can then, attach your Airtable or your Google Sheets, whatever data source you have as your database, you can plug it into Softer, and then you have a nice visual front-end interface. So that was kind of like that's kind of like the progression of the way things have gone. And then more recently, Lovable here is like kind of like, it just does it. Like you can build the front end and it's connected to a database. It gives you the most flexibility, I think, but it also can lead to some of the most problems because there is no real rigid framework. I mean, I think this is, I'm getting my technology terms right here. This is a React app. So it's basically you're building React apps. It's a cloud-based app. So there are issues, especially when it comes down to like accessing APIs. You have to set up edge functions and Supabase. Now you can handle all of that through Lovable just by talking to it. So it's not really an issue, but it does take a little bit to finesse. All right, so that's quite the intro. Again, what do I want to talk about today? So I've got maybe limited time, and plus my stream reliability in terms of how long my streams have been running has been a bit inconsistent. That's just due to probably what I'm using to stream. And so I never know how long the streams are going to last. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to get notified when I go live again, and hit me up on X, Gray's Reality. So that out of the way, I've got a bunch of different projects. One of the most recent ones that I talked about yesterday was going from like porting a previous workshop, Santa's workshop thing that I did during the holidays as, an experiment with like ChatGPT's real-time API using the WebSocket. So during the 12 days of Shipmas or whatever it was that they were doing last month when they were announcing new features every day for like 12 days. One of them was the ability to connect using WebSockets, right? So one of the very first projects, as soon as like I heard about that, I said, well, I think I can do this in Lovable, or let's see if I can do this in Lovable. So I fired up this Santa's Workshop. Basically allows you to talk, basically talk to a Santa's helper, and then you can have a real-time chat with like an elf type character and convey your wishes. But now that Christmas is over and we're into January, it's not the most, like who's making, I mean, we're all making wishes, but I figured let's try to repurpose that project. So more recently, been working on a journaling space. So taking the same foundation, basically I remixed the project. And if you're not familiar with remixing projects, you can just go into up here and then you can remix the project, right? So what that means is it'll spin off, it'll like fork, if you will, I guess, branch it, so it'll take your existing project and it'll like clone it, and then you can remix it. So sometimes I get to a place where I'm at I've built like up to a certain level of functionality in Lovable, and I want to not break it. So sometimes I'll just remix it just to save a copy. I don't know if that's best practices, honestly, but I do it just out of like, anxiety. I get to a point where I build a project deep enough, and then I feel like if I break it enough, then I'll just abandon it because I don't want to deal with fixing it. And that's probably one of the bigger challenges with just the more you get into projects, the more stuff there is to break. And then you get to a place where if you start breaking too many things, it gets a little depressing and you just want to abandon the project. Right. So this is a journal thingy. And so it works the same way. You connect, you begin journaling, and it will connect to a journal space similar to Santa's Workshop. And you'll be like, hey, are you there?
That sounds like a cozy and welcoming space. Journaling can be a wonderful way to reflect on your thoughts and feelings. What's on your mind today?
Hashtag Lovable.
It sounds like you're feeling positive and enthusiastic. What aspect of your life or experiences are bringing you that sense of joy right now?
Currently developing apps in Lovable is pretty cool.
That sounds like an exciting and creative journey. What do you enjoy most about building apps in Bubble? Is it the flexibility it offers, or perhaps the opportunity to turn your ideas into reality?
Well, the funny thing is, I do like turning my ideas into reality. It's kind of why my channel is called Gray's Reality, because it's kind of like as close as you can get to reality. And there's a longer story there.
Gray's Reality is a great name, full of meaning and creativity. It's wonderful that you find joy in...
So anyways, this is an app. It's got some, you can have hashtags, right? So it's going to want to keep talking to me, but let's just kill this function, or let's just jump out of here real quick. Go back to the dashboard. What I wanted to do today for this stream is actually just start a personal landing page app. So we can come back to the journaling app. Once you have, actually, what should I? All right, so I have a couple things in mind. I still need to like build a personal landing page for these endeavors. So as I'm streaming on YouTube, I need a place to, I got rid of all my hosting plans. I've sort of gone all into like Lovable, but I have yet to actually push or deploy anything from Lovable. So I'm still at this place where I'm just building and trying to understand capabilities of Lovable. But I haven't actually pushed anything, like committed it to a domain, put it on a domain, even let alone just pushed it, deployed it. And I have deployed some apps in like Replit and that kind of thing, but Lovable I've yet to do. So I don't feel like I've fully committed like a full cycle of like that process. So I want to do something simple that allows me to get it done, as opposed to just all these mini projects that I'm sort of tinkering away with and trying to understand Lovable's capabilities. And so I figured let's do something where we can publish a project, right? So what I want to do is create like a personal landing page, similar to Card. So I had, among other things, I used to host all my websites, like on traditional website hosting plans with WordPress, and then blogs. And so kind of like for like the last 15 years or whatever of websites, most of the time I just had a WordPress like blog, and then it was a lot of tinkering with WordPress for various use cases and different projects and WooCommerce and like this, that, and the other. But it was all sort of WordPress and generally speaking, just regular, web hosting. Got rid of all my web hosting. I also had a card subscription where you can, have basically mini sort of landing pages. The main reason I did that was because I was trying to figure, I wasn't using WordPress as much anymore. Plus all my personal websites I kind of abandoned in projects. So I didn't really have a need to continue renewing my hosting each year. It was like an annual cost. And if I wasn't doing anything with the hosting, then I didn't feel like paying for it. So I took all the WordPress stuff down. I ended up buying a card subscription, which is like mini landing pages that you can build. So like simple, quick landing pages, personal landing pages, like project landing pages, lead generation style landing pages, that kind of thing. That's what card can do. And it's really cheap, really inexpensive. I think for the whole year, you can get it for like less than $30 if you get a deal on it, maybe less than 50. And then, you have like, and here, let's just do this. Let's just open Card so I can show you what I'm talking about. So Card. So Card's this website where, like, for instance, you have build one-page sites. So basically mini landing pages, simple, easy, effective, inexpensive, responsive. And you can build up to three of these things for free, right? And so I had a Card subscription. So I went from WordPress to Card. And ultimately now I didn't renew my Card this time around either. So, dropped my WordPress hosting, dropped Card, and now I'm staring at, Lovable. So got Lovable and, figured why not try to make a quick landing page. So let's just do this. I'm going to quickly share this, post. And if again, you haven't already connected with me, feel free to do so. But what I want to do is share this video on Twitter so I don't forget about it later. And I'll be like, watch me, join me as I build a personal landing page website for using at lovable.dev. Website with AI. Of course, it's got to be AI. Join me as I build a personal landing page website with AI using lovable.dev. All right, so that's out in the world, pushing that. Let's talk about it. All right, we're going to start from scratch. So this will be a little bit different from stuff that I've been doing in the past where we talked about previous projects. I do have ongoing projects, but we will discuss that another time. Today, though, let's talk about this landing page. All right, so I talked about Card. You saw what Card is, right? So Card's kind of, like I said, simple landing page, simple, fully responsive. You know what? So this might even be my starting prompt, right? Just for inspiration, just because we don't have anything. And I do like Card, but like I said, I thought that maybe I can get away with just building something in Lovable instead. So let's just use that. What do I want to build? A simple I don't need free because that's funny. Simple, fully responsive one-page site for, let's see, a simple, fully responsive one-page site for my personal landing page, personal website. All right, so simple, fully responsive one-page site for my personal website. I don't need landing page. All right, let's just see what happens. Let's just not get stuck in the weeds and let's just sort of speed run this because I do have, like I said, limited time. So we're just gonna go, right? We're just gonna sort of speed run this build and see how far we can get in the next 30 minutes or so, or within about an hour. So what happens is you throw a prompt in there. There are several different ways to kick off a project. Some people like to start by just building a blank app and then connecting everything from there. I want to make this super lightweight, so I don't really want to deal in this particular project with integrations like Supabase or like building out a database. I kind of just want this to be a front end, quick little, like I said, simple. Simple is the thing here. Simple. It's easy to say that, but once you start building, then you start adding and adding, and so sometimes you end up with this screen, welcome to your blank app. It's kind of a placeholder. I think by default, it's like, hey. All right, so this is what it built with a single prompt. And so again, just a friendly reminder, the prompt was simple, fully responsive one-page site for my personal website. And it's like, hey, my name, doesn't even know my name, doesn't know my name. My name is Aaron, but it doesn't know my name because I didn't give it to it. Now, if I had to redo this and think about it, I'd probably put my name in there. Hey, my name is Aaron, and I do this, and these are the things that I like, and so here's my projects. All right, so far so good. I've got name. Hi, I'm your name. I'm not a full stack developer. I'm more like an AI coder. Get in touch. I'm always open to new work. What does this do? So this one automatically fires open a mail to link. This one goes to GitHub. This one goes to LinkedIn. So these are all just placeholders. I've got an about page. So fully functional. Like this is pretty good. I mean, let's see. So these, I imagine if you scroll down, yeah, these are just layered, probably, anchors. So this drops to an anchor for the project. You got the project pages. These are, again, are all just placeholders for now. But I would say that's not bad. I would like to make this more compact. So let's just try this. I would like to make it more compact, similar to a quick, what do you call those? A quick find my link, find my links page. I don't even know what they're called, but I'm sure like this is where like you don't have to be specific. I think AI is smart enough to know that if you say it's a quick find my links style page, bio page, let's do that. So again, this is not a way to conserve messages or credits. If you're looking to do that, I probably wouldn't suggest this workflow, but just for the sake of a demo and keeping it a little bit more interesting, just to see kind of the outputs and the results that you're gonna get, this is probably this is better for you, not better for me, right? So just keep that in mind. This is probably not the best way to approach a new project. Let's see. What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? All right, so it's working. Okay, so see, this is a little bit more what I was talking about. So really, again, let's just take a quick gander at the two prompts that we've used so far. The first of which was a simple, fully responsive one-page site for my personal website, right? Not a lot of information, and it sort of, it just was a little bit, it was not kind of exactly what I was thinking. It was a little bit more robust. It was a little bit more involved, and had different pages and different assets and placeholders for all the stuff. Where I want something a little bit more simple, just a link maybe to my YouTube, a link to Twitter, with my channel name, that kind of thing. So what does profile do? I don't know what that button does, but this is better, right? So these are all then links. So this is pretty much, where I was going. All right, so now I kind of want a form because what I want to do is just, again, make this really lightweight, but I do want a form. So if there's inquiries, then I kind of want a quick, easy form on here, a way to get a hold of me. And then I'm going to use probably make.com and use a webhook to sort of just send the form field submit to a make webhook, and then it can just email me, right? So again, trying to sort of make this lightweight. I get that, like, by connecting something else, it's sort of going against the grain, what I just said about keeping it lightweight. There may be other ways to use a mail to function. Like in here, for instance, this is just creating a mail to link. So this is just firing open any mail app that you have connected, right? So that's, again, if you want to keep this super simple, you can do so. Here's another thing. I don't know about, the best way to implement a form, but let's see. Actually, let's stay out of chat mode. Let's just go full build mode. Down here, you'll see that there's a couple options, chat only and then default. Chat only, actually, let's just say thinking about adding a simple form as a way for people to contact me. All right, so when you do this, you're in chat mode. It's not going to build anything. Usually it doesn't. Sometimes it tries to. It's a beta feature. So just be aware that it can be a bit hit or miss in terms of like how it functions. But now you're just talking to it. You're like, all right, so I've got some ideas. I've got this thing that I like what I'm seeing, but I want to sort of tweak it. So it's a great idea. Let's add a contact form to your bio link page. Let me see what this could look like. Name field, extra messages. We'll use some shade. So it's going to use some components, the shade CN UI components, text area, form submissions. It says we could either use SendGrid or Email.js to send the form submissions. It will require setting up an API key, and then this is where I'll go. I'll probably just forward the form field submit to my make.com webhook. All right, and so type that, and again, just so we can focus on the prompts, I'll just make this a little bit bigger. All right, so what do we got now? Using make.com, webhooks, great choice, simple, flexible. See, there's that term, simple, flexible. So receive form hooks via webhook submission. So if you're not familiar with webhooks, I wasn't familiar with what a webhook really was a couple years ago. Basically, it's a web address. Again, this is my interpretation of a webhook. But web address that you get, you can forward information to it in like a JSON format. It's a structured sort of format, and then it sends the info over, and then you can receive it. It's kind of like quarterback, throw it, webhook catches it, and then completes it, right? So that's the idea. Get information from here to there. For the implementation, we'll keep it straightforward. Since make webhooks accept standard post requests, we'll just need a form with basic fields. Okay, All right, let's do it. So let's literally just say, let's do it. Let's do it. Again, probably not the best in terms of best practices for prompting, but because we're just trying to build real fast, let's see how far we can get with this project in a short amount of time. Just so you can understand like the concept of Lovable, the idea that you can build an app in seconds. So far it's been many multiples of seconds, but you get the idea. There was one prompt and it created an app, so it literally was seconds to begin with. All right, what do we got? So I don't really like this form layout already. It's kind of, again, I don't really like the thing that it's doing. I would prefer that there's buttons, and then maybe like if you clicked contact, like it would replace the buttons. So the way it stacked it here is not like my favorite in terms of usability. Like I don't like this design. So I would prefer to, and this is where I get into conversation mode. So I'm like, not a fan of having the form below the buttons. Can we do something where we switch from button view to form view if they select contact us or get in touch? All right, so again, free flowing. When you're chatting, you're not necessarily accruing costs. When I say costs with Lovable, you're not spending, they're not called tokens, you get messages. So you get a certain amount of messages based on your subscription to Lovable. So I believe if you pay $20 a month, you get 100 messages. For $50 a month, you get like 250. Check the latest pricing. It's available, but I'm on the $50. So I get 250 messages. I'm already somewhere in the 160 message range left. So like I said, this isn't free. You can use Lovable for free with like 5 messages per day. You can see how it can get you, at least you understand like what the app can do. But if you want to go beyond that, you really kind of need to have a subscription. And probably $20 or 100 messages if you're just dabbling is probably a great place to start. All right, that's a great clean UI idea. Let's just see what it's suggesting we do. We can create a toggle between the views and links to the contact form. Here's how we could approach this. A state track. All right, so create a contact me, get in touch. User flow. All right, so I generally like what it's suggesting. So let's just say, yeah, let's implement it. Let's implement the changes. All right, so go back into build mode and then say do it. So this is where, again, if there's any, if I would like to see some updates in Lovable, it will be an action button. Like put an action button so I don't have to say, let's do it. Like literally type it out. Yeah, let's do it. I would prefer if I'm in chat mode, it come back to me and say, do you want to proceed? Yes, no, or like just action button, like just go. I don't want to have to like just be literal and just, hey, yes, let's do the thing that you just said we should do. And that's how I will prompt. I will literally copy the things because I don't necessarily want it to break the other stuff. All right, so what do we got now? Now we have a form, and if we click the Get in Touch button, now we've got this weird sort of thing. It did what we asked it to. So it basically tucked the form as a UI behind here, but it's not, this isn't best practices. Like this is kind of a funky way to get to a form, right? I would prefer that maybe there's tabs on top instead, and then we can get to the form. So let's just say, let's go back to chat mode and say, hey, can we use tabs instead above the form? I need more coffee to type this early in the morning. Can we use tabs instead above the form to navigate to the form fields? All right, so again, when you're in chat mode, I'm not as concerned about like spending messages or again, tokens are not tokens with Lovable, but you do get messages. So this doesn't necessarily detract from that count. You can just kind of talk. It is a beta feature, so I don't know if it's going to stay. Hopefully it stays, but I can't imagine like with the way that I use it a lot. So it's really cool that, you know, you can just talk to your code and not really sort of incur a cost, at least for the time being. So I will talk to it. Tabs appear at top. And again, I'm not really reading this right now. Again, just for the sake of this demo, if you have questions, feel free to leave anything in the comments or chat, or find me on, again, Twitter. I'm over there, Gray's Reality, as well as here. So again, subscribe, or I'll be back and we'll either pick up from where we leave off today with this project or another project, but I'm always just working on stuff. So this would replace the current toggle button approach tabbed. Let's just see what it does. So yeah, let's proceed. Yes, let's proceed. All right, and again, it's easy to get caught up in the weeds with Lovable. So now we're just like dinking around with like forms, but I like to like dial some stuff in first. And I don't, again, probably not the best way to approach a new project. You should have like an idea of what you want. You can copy screenshots as well. So you can attach things and then it will like look at it and be like, oh, that's what you want to do. Because sometimes, you know, a picture, as they say, is worth 1,000 words. So, okay, here we go. This is getting better now. So I've got links and then I've got contact, right? So this is definitely a better user experience, right? I don't have a separate button at the bottom, which is like, you know, do this thing. This is cooler, right? So buttons, form. And so now we've already got like a pretty slick like interface. You know, these will then be links to YouTube, Twitter, whatever, wherever I'm at. And then a contact form. And then this will go to my make.com webhook. All right, so pretty good. And then, all right, so now let's just say, how can we make it like, oh, you know, this is where I like to abstract a little bit and then just be like, can we make this more interesting looking? Can we make it more, so I'll be like this here. Let's do this. My name would like to provide more context for the site, for the app content. My name is Aaron, and I'm building building apps using AI with Lovable.dev. All right, so let's just see if I'll add some context. That way maybe it will update some stuff. All right, let's just do this. Let's just see. So here, I will, my Twitter handle, my Twitter, my X handle, my X, I don't even know if it knows, my X.com Twitter handle is Gray's Reality, is at Gray's Reality. Let's see, Gray's Reality. And my YouTube is also at Gray's Reality. Boom, 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 boom. All right, and so let's do that. And then I'll provide it some context with chat. And then let's see if it can update. So let's update the site to reflect my personal info. All right, again, so you can sort of just quickly build an app and ask it things and have it do stuff, and you can have a pretty quick, so I don't know what's, like clearly with Card, you got templates. So on Card, for instance, and again, the idea is that we're building a simple landing page. These are a bit more rigid. You have the flexibility to customize them, but I just, and it's really inexpensive, like $19 for the whole year. Yep, and it even says per year. So really inexpensive. So if you're just looking for something easy, Card is a great solution. Now that I have Lovable, I like to do, see what we can do, see if we can actually replicate some of that. So I asked it to update. So I gave it some context. I said, hey, here's my personal information. I'm Aaron. I build AI powered stuff. I'm like a short stack, probably developer, not full stack. That title makes me uncomfortable, full stack developer. I'll update the page. So now it's got, hey, Aaron, it's got my name, building AI powered applications with Lovable, full stack developer. It's got, let's see if these links work. Yep. It's got Twitter. It's got my link to Twitter, YouTube. Yep. Okay. And email we can add later. Contact, Lovable projects. It's got Lovable, follow me on X, subscribe on YouTube, and then I don't know where this button goes. So I don't know what the resume button does. So let's just ask a few things. Oh, that's not resume, that's resume. Yeah, again, more coffee. A resume, like, traditional thing, those like things that you used to get jobs, like that, now, like, I don't know. I mean, yes, they are still a thing that you submit. So if you are in the process of looking for a job, you still use them, but they're just in terms of, they're a bit antiquated in terms of like the technology. A resume, like, I feel like you should have some other things going on, like a portfolio these days, especially if you're in this space. You want something that you could show, demonstrate, and do. So something like this, again, would be perfect to house those kinds of things. If I had a resume, I'd probably just make it, again, something that you could view here on the site, but I don't. So, or at least I don't have one that I've used anytime recently. All right, so let's see what the profile. What is the profile link in the header supposed to do? And if I have a question about like what, like, because you have a vision for these things, but it will build it, but sometimes you don't know like what it was intended to do. So if I click profile, for instance, this is just a empty placeholder for what, I don't know. And if you want to give it, if you want to give Lovable a more specific, like, point it to something. So now, what is the profile link in the header supposed to do? Then you can just ask it, right? So we'll just ask it so we know what it's supposed to do. And again, if you have questions, if you happen upon the stream in the future and are into this, if you have questions about anything like this or how it could work, or what it could work for, just let me know in the comments, or like I said, connect with me on X, Twitter. All right, so when users click the profile link in the navigation, it should smoothly scroll them back to the top of your profile section. Okay, so if you were scrolling, yeah, we don't need it, right? And so we don't need that traditional header. All right, so I don't think we need the header anymore. Because it was basically not a relic, but it was from the first build, right? So in the first prompt, we created that longer form where, we had more sections of content that we had to jump between. But now, since we don't have that, we just build a little microsite with a form on it. We don't need that, right? So, you're right. So see, it says, we're right, So let's just go. All right, yeah, let's remove it. So we'll just remove it. I wonder if we can replace that image with something representative of, or maybe it can grab my handle. I don't even know. And I'm talking about the profile picture. I'm just curious if it can import my handle from whatever space that the handle, like the picture, exists. All right, so it's going to remove the header. Hopefully it says it's going to do it. I'm just waiting for the actual response. This is like this dot. Again, just as a user thing, I stare at this dot a lot, waiting for it to do something, you know, stop blinking and go away. That means like it's fully committed to whatever changes it made. Because you can see like it hasn't committed them, and now it has. The page refreshed and the little dot goes away. But it'd be cool if it was like, I'm working on this, or like at least tell me what you're doing. I think, you know, if you look at the code, you can kind of see what it did, right? So if you ever want to look at the code and be like, what did it change exactly? And this is where, like I said, if you are fluent, if you understand code and React apps, specifically JavaScript, don't mind that. It's a little bit cold here in Los Angeles. If you can hear the background sound, sorry. It's just cold. And it's the heater, so. But you can go in here and check out the changes, right? So, all right, much more simple. I got a contact form, I got links. So this will go to, you know, in theory, my Lovable stuff. Or maybe I have a little gallery on here. Follow me on X, subscribe on YouTube. Click contact, you put your name, form, other things, right? So far so good. Mini little landing page, personal landing page. All right. What else should we add here to the equation? We got the form. Is it possible to fetch my profile picture from Twitter or YouTube? I don't know if this is actually possible, but these are the things that sometimes, again, with chat mode, I'll just ask. Because I don't know the limitations, I don't know the boundaries, I don't know what we can or can't do. Twitter's API, so that's going to require an API key, data, download. Okay, so it's just like, you could just probably just go download it. So we won't worry about that right now. We could figure out that later. I'm sure you would have to host it somewhere, right? So that's where I'm trying to get away from hosting things or putting things, you know? So that's where, so if we're going to talk about this project, let's talk about like what you could do from here. Right, so you could, we're about 37 minutes in the stream, so we got about 20 minutes ish. I'm trying to keep these streams under an hour just to keep them a little bit more digestible. But what could you do from here? So from here, you can add stuff to it, right? You got the front end, you got buttons that work, right? Just everything sort of like surface level. A contact form, you know, if I provide the webhook URL, like, all right, what do we need to make the form work? All right, so that's where I'm not sure where it would store the address for the webhook. So currently it says the code has a placeholder for the webhook. You'll need to create a webhook and make to do that with the values and the validation. So let's see. Should we try that now? Sounds a little bit complicated. It's not the most complicated thing. It's just firing up a scenario, creating a new webhook in make.com, grabbing the URL, coming back here, submitting it. I guess the question I have is, do I want to do that on stream? I don't really have the like advanced capabilities of like hiding stuff on screen. So keys and things like that. If I say I'm going to go back and like blur it out or delete it, then like I'm just kidding myself, because I probably won't do that. And then my webhook URL is exposed and all that good stuff. So instead of that, let's just see, contact form, links. All right, you know what? Let's just do some more surface level stuff. How can we make this landing? How can we make this micro website cooler? And these are the kinds of things that you just ask, right? You just ask, because like this is pretty cool but boring, right? I mean, it's straightforward, depends on what you want to do, but if you're creative, if you're a business, you know, like you probably want some different things going on, right? So what else can we do? So I like to get ideas. I'm like, all right, what can we do? Visual enhancements. We can add a gradient. Okay. Interactive elements, add subtle animations. All right, layout improvements, content presentation. Let's just do this. Let's just see what it is. Go ahead, proceed with making, proceed with enhancing the visual identity with more creativity. Again, you probably don't want to approach a project like this. You will probably want to have a vision, sketch, more rigid. You know, all I went in here was like, I want a card style, simple, like bio link landing page, right? Just trying to replicate something from another service. That way I don't have to use that service. I can just use Lovable, deploy this, put it on a domain maybe, and then make it a thing. So enhance the visual identity of the website with gradients, animations, and improved styling while maintaining all existing functionality. There is a database, there's a place, a knowledge base in here that you can apply things. All right, so here we go. Actually, this is a lot better. This is cooler looking. I don't like the, I would like it to maintain. Okay, it's better. I don't know about, it's a little bit too pink for my taste, but the UI is better. It's like in this, like the focus is more centered. Now can we just align, can we center align? Can we center align the profile pic and name? But not too bad. I mean, we kind of created this on the fly, like without any real sort of plan, right? So looking at the current code, the profile pic, avatar, and name are already center aligned. So it thinks they're in the middle. These classes are already properly centering the content. All right, so this is where probably a good thing, because we can actually just talk to it, be like, look, it's not, it is not center aligned. Yes, this is, but this is not, right? These two elements here. So they're not in like a separate, you can see it's got a div like around the whole thing. And then this image is just floating, and this H1 is just floating, right? So this all I think right here, this div is floating these icons. This is a paragraph, right? So I think we need to put this like stuff. But you know what, instead of selecting one, so you can select, again, you can choose to select a container, something like that. But we're not gonna do that. Let's just do this. Let's take a screenshot real quick. Let's just paste it in here. And then say, let's go back to chat and be like, I'm referring to the AMG profile pic placeholder, and my name, H1. All right, so I'm gonna give it a little bit of guidance, but just see what it says. So copy, screenshot, and again, you could just paste it in here. You could attach, you know, like you can just click attach and attach your file. And then now it's gonna be like, oh, I know what you're talking about, right? So sometimes you have to provide some visual context, because when you're typing, it's just like, it's already centered, right? And I think it's just like, yeah, everything's centered. But when you're looking at it as a human, you're like, it's not centered, like it's clearly not centered. So yes, there's some extra spacing and padding. So it's like, I see what you're saying, looking at the preview image while technically centering the profile picture, and your name could be better aligned to a more cohesive visual presentation, right? So let's adjust it, right? So let's adjust these elements. And I get into a habit where I literally just copy the prompt back, right? So sometimes I will be as literal as like this. Let's adjust these visual alignments. So I'll be like, it'll be like, do you want to adjust these elements to achieve better visual alignment? I'm like, yes, let's adjust these elements to achieve better visual alignment. I do that because I want my prompts to be at some point very specific. Otherwise, if I like a design and I'm not as specific as I should be or need to be, it will start sort of taking liberties that I don't need it to take. So I like to keep the context focused and the prompts squarely centered around the exact thing that I'm working on at the moment. And I find that tends to help. Your mileage may vary, as with any prompting. Your project can vary as well. So I think I want to add like some sort of like effect to the image placeholder, or like to, I don't know, to something, just some sort of last little animated thing. All right, what have we done so far? All right, I've helped adjust the alignment of the profile. Boom. All right, so now we have a centered picture. Ta-da, look at that, it's like magic. All right, so boom, Aaron, building AI-powered applications for Lovable.dev, or with Lovable.dev, not a full stack developer. Don't get it twisted. But if you need to contact me, this form will be, I'll probably launch this soon, but I'm not gonna go through the process of that now. These are the things that hopefully, as I get to them, I will then publish separate videos on the channel. So if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to the channel, because I'll then publish like separate videos about like specific functionality, like publishing, setting up a domain, deploying with Lovable, because this is something that I need to have available, right? I just want some links, that way when I'm on stream and I'm like, hey, you can, visit, mydomain.com. My name is Aaron.com, which is not my.com, but you understand what I'm saying. Boom, projects, stuff like this. And of course, I hope to continue to refine this, but not bad, like in however many minutes it's been, I blabbed for probably 10 minutes when I kicked off the stream, but we're a little over 30 minutes here into it, 45 minutes in the stream, but this was pretty quick. It's got working links. It's got, some placeholders that need to be fixed. Last thing I need to do is, like I said, sort of just wire this up to my webhook, and then people can contact me from in here, and we're good to go. So that is, like I said, kind of a quick and easy way to get a personal landing page or card style website built. And if we take a look at card, let's see, do they have a gallery of options? Change log documentation, templates. I just want to see if you can choose a starting point. Yeah, so you can see like profile pics. Okay, so this was the idea, to build out some like a simple card style landing page. Right, and this one's have forms, so you can demo any of these. You can go to card and see these like templates, right? So this was kind of the general inspiration, right? Form, so this is probably a little bit closer to what we just built. So it's got a form. These buttons are really big, and this font is huge, right? So this is just like gigantic, which is kind of interesting, because we can be like, can we make it gigantic, right? So like, I don't know how we would actually prompt. Maybe we can just ask it. I would like to make everything feel bigger. Yeah, that's probably not the best prompt, but or do we even want to play with that right now? Let's leave it here for now. This is, like I said, where you had to pick and choose your battles. But the idea was to build a card style landing page quickly using Lovable, and whether or not we could do it. So you get the idea. This has a form submit, some some sample placeholder stuff. I think there's a personal, like if we go to portfolio, these are probably, or section, or one of these, which are profile, landing. I'm looking for like one of those typical like bio pages. Yeah, like this one, right? So a typical bio page. Now this one has like some pretty cool animated button fly-ins and things like that. So can we animate some of the loading actions? Let's do that. Some of these loading actions are pretty cool. So let's see if we do that. When the page initially loads, can we use some like fly-in animations or anything like that? And again, I would go chat mode again, because I do like just the movement. This page is a little static, so maybe we can add just a little sprinkle of some movement. I think you have to be a bit selective, otherwise it gets a little bit aggressive and aggro, and then it's like, well, it's too much movement. So we can definitely add some nice flying animation with animation utilities from, so they've got animation utilities. We could use a built-in fade animation. Social, would you like to, let's implement some animations to give the page a bit more interest and life when it first loads up. And life. Let's just say that. Let's just go with that. I don't even know if I want it to just be on load, but let's just add some animations and, like I said, call it, because we're approaching an hour. And at this point, I'll probably just get into the weeds again, which I'm kind of doing, but you know, we just looked at the card gallery and I saw some pretty cool animations and I'm like, can we do something like that? I don't know, honestly. I like front end stuff. So design wise, this is pretty cool looking. Just needs, you know, a picture of my face. But pretty cool. So let's just add a little bit of movement and see what my prompt yields. Okay, yeah. So that was pretty cool, right? So it does this thing where I'm just gonna refresh it real quick. And we broke our alignment on the thing. Okay. Hold on. Okay, yeah. So I'm just refreshing. So I'll click refresh. And then I'm not sure what it's doing. But I think it blipped. It's a very technical term. So let's just center my name and then call it a day, right? So, all right, so it's gonna reanimate. I don't know why it keeps reanimating, probably because I'm trying to select things. Oh, that's why it's reanimating. So at least we can see, if I click this, you can see the animations that it added, right? And if you didn't like the animations, one thing you can do is just go back, right? So you can be like, all right, let's just restore the previous version. So you'll get to a place where maybe you'll make some suggestions or you'll try a prompt and you don't like what it did. Like in this case, because it misaligned my name, maybe I didn't like the animation. The animation's okay, but maybe I didn't like it. So maybe I'll just restore the previous version. And that's another cool thing that you can do is you can just hop back in time and then put back what was previously there. All right, so now this is the animation-less version of the project. And then you can see here where exactly we jumped back to in time. All right, that's going to, I think, do it. I like what we were able to produce in, you know, a reasonable amount of time. This again is just a quick demonstration. It's deviating a little bit from what I usually do here, which is project updates, but I think, you know, it's good for me to understand like the capabilities of a project like this. And like I said, I've been wanting to publish, like deploy something. So I wanted something simple that was actually functional, that, you know, I'm not just deploying for the sake of deploying it, but I could actually use it. So I'll probably continue to make tweaks to this. We can revisit this, but if you have questions about building, you know, landing pages or like that with Lovable, or AI coding, using AI coding to build landing pages, then just let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the future form version of this as well. This will be, again, the idea is to get this live. So when I go live, I'll make sure that it's available on X, and you can see the final version of it. But what is ever final these days with AI, right? So, yeah, if you have questions, hit me up on Twitter, on X, Gray's Reality, here on YouTube, youtube.com/@ Gray's Reality. And if you have questions about anything else, general questions, those work too. All right, and so until the next one, I will catch up with you later. Peace.